Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Like their expectation is like the Pega developer itself need to do all the Pega, like from starting refinement to end deployment testing. Everything they only need to do. Like that, they will keep an expectations. Like in order to fulfill that, you can use this testing tool like where you can able to achieve this particular functionality. Here our requirement is like for this particular assistant request case types. Whenever the user enters the make model, like one or more associated models in the model drop down list. Intermittently, like users report that during the submit request, some cars do not have associated model name in the drop down. When entering the vehicle information, like what they want is like stakeholders need to easily identify the vehicle mix with at least one associated model. In order to that, we need to make some end-to-end testing. Like after that, like what is the additional that the stakeholders, they are worrying about our application performance as well to ensure the complete customer can complete more efficiently. What we need is like we need to generate the vehicle model list within like a certain milliseconds in order to achieve the thing. For that, we will see like how we can achieve this particular scenario. For example, like I am opening this assistant request case. I will go to the studio. What is that scenario like? In while filling that vehicle, we have one screen where vehicle, make, model year. Everything is there, right? While filling that, what happens is like there is for certain kind of vehicle make, there is no models associated. Like what they are asking is like the customers, they are reporting in live. We didn't test it properly. What happened? It like when it go to production. Like the real-time users when they checked for certain vehicles. There is no model associated with it. Like what we need to do is like we need to make sure like that particular drop down is completely filled. In order to do that, like we need to create some unit test cases and then we need to capture some kind of an automation testing everything we need to do. For that, like we will see like how we can do that particular scenario. Now, like I have created a case in order to show you like where that particular screen is there and where the testing case has been used. Like if you see here, just I am typing 2017, I typing something, and here like what I am doing is like I am clicking on Subaru. Like we have certain kinds of vehicles. For the shelter, like we have certain kinds of vehicles, like we will see some other model. there is a make called Saturn. If you see here for this particular make, we don't have like that model at all. Like what we need to make sure is like for all the things, we need to have some kind of a model here. Because whenever they like, if you see, like for other drop downs we have, if you take Tesla, we will see for Tesla like we have more or less three things we have. If you take any other vehicle also, we have some list. But for certain kind of a drop down, like we don't have any kind of things. If you take Nissan, like in Nissan, we have this much passenger car and truck car. If you see Saturn for Saturn make, there is no model. In real time, like we missed this unit test cases. What happened is like it went into production, and whenever the customer selected the make a Saturn, they don't have any kind of a model. In order to avoid this, like we need to create some kind of a unit test cases, and we need to make sure like even like single like make also like it's not like a loan, it's been associated with some model. Like that we need to make sure. For that, like we need to create some test cases. You understood this in our right. For that, like what I'm going to do is like I'm going to open the data type. Here, like we have like data type created for each of the particular configuration, whatever we are used in our application. In this like, what we are doing is like vehicle models, we are going to select it. In this vehicle models, like we expand it. It's loading. In vehicle models, like when you can have like usage or like when you have like sources, you will find that like what are the data page is associated with each of the particular data type. Like if you see, like we have like vehicle models one and like list of vehicles one, like we have two things. Here like what we are going to do is like we are going to open this list of vehicle data page. From using this data page only, like what we are doing, we are retrieving that vehicle model list and we are displaying in the user screen. Now like what we need to make sure is like we need to create a test case for this particular vehicle models, and we need to make sure like we need to have like some certain kinds of one like models every models, like we need to have some like our models, like we need to have some for the particular mix. We need to have model associated with it. Here like what we are doing is like we will click on action and then we will click on run. Now like what it will happen is like it will run the data page and it will ask us to enter the make and model. Here now like we will test it with each of the particular things. Example, now like what I am going to do is like I am going to keep like Honda and model here. I am just clicking as some 2017. I am clicking on run. When I do that, it will load all the particular Honda make and the model here associated with it, and it will display under PX results page. If you see here, like there is a peak X results page in this data page. When we expand it, like we have totally 7 models, like for this particular make Honda. Like if you see Honda code, Honda Civic, like that, we have different thing. Now same thing, like what we will do, like now we will check for Saturn. Saturn, like we will check and we will run it. Now if you see at the bottom, like we don't have any PICS results page. That means for this particular make, we don't have any kind of a model associated with it. Like how we can automatically detect this one is like by creating a test case. For that, like what we are doing is like first, like what we can do, like we can create on this particular. We can create this particular Saturn, and then like what we can do is like we can create a data like a test case. Now what I will do is like I will click on Honda and I will just click on save. Now like what it will happen is like I will be getting PX results. That means like we have like valid models associated with this Honda make. Like if you see what are the valid values is like we have totally 7 results. Now like what we are going to do is like in top above, you can see like there is an option like convert to test. Whenever you click on this one, it will open on another template in your Dev Studio. There like you can create a test cases. This is called like unit test case creation. Now if you see like this is a rule called test case rule. It has been created with our following parameters. Like what parameters we have used here? We have used like model make as and like make. We used as like Honda and like model. Here we are used like 2017. With this particular model, make and model here, like whatever it is there. We have returned 7 results in the database. For that, like we are creating the unit test case saying that like for this particular Honda, like we have all these are coming, like all we have 7 associated models. Your test case has been paused successfully. Like that it will be determined. Similar to that, you need to create and test case for like various things such as like we have this much model state, like we have this much make, right? All the make, like you need to create a unit test case. How you can create this? Like in the same database, like instead of Honda, like you can give Subaru or the Maybach or Jaguar, like that you can give it. And then like you can retrieve, like you can click on convert to test. Once after clicking on convert to test, what happens is like it will open this panel. Here, like you can keep some kind of an like a assessment type. What here is like, this particular drop down should be loaded within like 0,003 milliseconds. What does it mean? Like it will, your performance also should be very much good. Like whenever you click on drop down, what is happening? It is checking this data type and then it is loading the data. Like what in real time it happens is like it will check the external data system and then it will retrieve the data. That time, like we should not make like the drop down to load more than 1 seconds, like more than milliseconds. In order to do that, here in this case itself, you have an option like expected runtime. Whenever you keep this one, what happens is like within this runtime, like if you have drop down for this particular phone, model is not loading means then your test case will be failed. That means you need to make like few other updates and change in order to do that. that is the particular thing. Another thing like in the drop down. What is the main criteria for this make and model? All the make should have at least one model associated with it. If you take in the real-time screen, like for at least like make like, if you take on that, at least one associated like model should be available. If there is no model mean, then that is an issue. For that, like here, what you can do, assertion type is like result count is there. Like why in data page, like whenever the model is there for the respective make, what we are getting in the page called PAX results rating. Like what we are going to do is like we are checking. We will check that particular result count. Here like what we will do is like where the particular data page I ran and show you. Where that it has been stored. It has been showed on the PX results. Just like that, PX results like we are going to extract it, and after that, like what we are going to do is like we need to have like at least one, at least zero, like at least one. We should have like minimum model name for each make. For that, what we are doing is like we are making like PX results is greater than 0. This is expected. If it is not returning mean then like this test case will be failed and our requirement is not satisfied. Like here, like when we click on save, it will ask the name. Here like what we can do is like vehicle models list, like we can keep like Honda, and like it is like testing glass, everything we can keep, and then just you can confirm. It's showing like the property. Assertion is empty. Something like this, empty below. We will delete this one. Only one thing is enough for us whenever the PXX is greater than 0. Now it will be saved. Now like we created for this case for Honda. Like if you see like test cases for vehicle models list for Honda. Now like what we will need to do is like we need to create a similar kind of test case for another. Another make up the vehicle. Like now Honda, we have valid PX results. We saw. Now, like what we'll do, like we'll check for the results which don't have any kind of models associated with it. Now like make, if you see like certain. Then I'm clicking on this one. If you see here, we don't have any kind of PX results here. That means that there is no model associated with it. Now this also, we will click on this, convert to test. Now if you see, make is certain and model here is this one. Here like, what we can do is like, we can select the particular things like where we have that particular kind of vehicles, and here like we will make like same thing, T cells. Pixar is greater than 0. Now like we will save this one. We will keep this as a certain. Like this, like you need to create an individual unit is true. That like for all the things like you need to make sure like all that particular things like the particular validation is there and the particular uses. Now like I'm just clicking like delete and like anything I'm saving. Like this in your real time. If you have like more than like 10 or 15 makes means for all the things you need to create like this and unit test cases. That like what it will be doing is like you will make sure that the particular list of like particular kind of configuration and there is in the runtime in development. We will find like there is an issue like that. Example, when you click on actions and run. If you see here, this test has been failed. Like when you click on view details. It is showing like it has been failed, like the results count is greater than 0. Because of this unexpected result, this has been failed. Whereas like when you run the same thing for like HONDA. If you see like this has been passed. Why? Because like the pH results count is greater than 1. Like if you create like this means like you need not to check every time in interaction portal. You need not to go to here only to in order to check it. And when you do it in the dev studio itself, like doing like test cases, it will determine whether your test cases has been passed or failed. Like once you are doing like, you cannot do like, what is the error? And you can why it has been failed. Like that, you can determine and you can make the appropriate changes. This is called like unit distribution. This is manual. Like you are only doing as a developer. You are only creating and running the data page and passing the parameter like whatever you want, Hyundai or Saturn or Jaguar, whatever it is. Then you are creating and you are making the session type everything. Now another thing is like automation testing is there. Automation testing in Pega will call us in scenario testing. In the way it should happen automatically in the screen. Whenever you are navigating the screen automatically, the video should be captured. Example from first stage to last stage. Whatever it is done, the video should be captured and then automatically it should record the video and then it should show like whether any issues there are not like that. It need automatically system need to identify. For that like what we have is like we have an option called scenario testing in Pega. Scenario testing, like where you can open, is like you can open in different ways. If you see here, like you have like a workbench and then you have like one beaker kind of an icon. This is called as like scenario testing icon. One way is here directly. You can click on the scenario testing icon, else like you can go to in order to do scenario testing first, like what we need to do is like we need to capture the screen. For that, like what we are doing is like we launch that user portal and like we will capture, like we will create one case and will capture all the video of it. For this, like what we are doing is like if you see here, like we have like a beaker kind of an icon. For that, like what we are going to do is like we are going to on this particular screen record. If you see here, like I'm clicking on this particular beaker, it has open navigation points. It is asking like latest version of Pega Test Automation Kit is available. Please refer to latest feature. Like what we'll do is like here, we have like a video recording option. Just like what we can do is like we can click on this particular video record and then like we can click on automation to open the scenario testing. Here, it is asking like whether it should be created in the portal on case step. Like what we are going to do. we are going to automate our automation testing our case step. Just like what I'm doing is like I'm just clicking on case step and clicking on assistance request. Now like whatever we are doing, it will be captured in this right hand side. If you see here, recording is in progress, like it will be captured. Now, like if I'm selecting some response, here like what I'm doing is like I'm selecting like my vehicle as like flat tire. Like whatever you are selecting, it will be captured here. First step, like we are doing initiate assistance request creating and like select how we help you today. In this button, like what we are doing is like we are having some kind of fun. These things like my vehicle is like flat tire has been selected. In order to see that like I will show is like I will show here. If you see here like my vehicle has some flat tire is there. Like whatever you are selecting in the screen, it will capture as some recording video and automatically it will say like whether any issues are there like in future. It will run and it will say. Now like what we are going to do is like we are going to click on continue. Whatever you are doing, it will be recorded in the right hand side. Here like what we are doing is like we will be continuing to the next thing and we will select some account ID. If you see here like I will select like Jane Mitchell. If you see here whatever I am selecting, automatically it will select here in right hand side. Everything is getting recorded. Now like what I am doing is like I am clicking on continue. Now here like what I am doing is like I am entering all the things. Jade Bangalore. If you see in right hand side, all the things will be recorded. Kanaka. Like automatically all the things are captured. Like if you see like this, everything it will be captured. And now like I am clicking on continue. In this particular things like what it happens is like we need to identify all like again like here. Also we need to fill that particular forms 2018 something and here like what we are going to do is like we are going to select. Like I am going to select like Honda and in this I am going to select Civ. And then like here I am going to select like black. This is one of the test case. Then after doing that, like what I am going to do is like I am going to all the things I captured. Now like I will stop this particular and save this recording. I am going to stop this one. It is now asking like the particular description. Like what we will do is like we will give like the name of it. It is there. Now if you see here like we got one test cases has been run. Like we created automation testing. Now what we will do is like we will go back to like this is called scenario testing. Like in real in user portal, you will on the recording and you will just select all the options like whatever it is possible. You need to select all the screens, like all the options, like every day and each thing, like you will create one kind of an automation scheme. Scenario recording. Now like what we will do is like we log up this one. One thing is like we are able to see that video. We can see. I will run that video and I will show you. Now, like you logged off from the user portal after capturing the screen recording of one scenario testing. Now, like what we will do is like we will go to the day studio and like in configure we can go unlike in application quality. Like here you have like automated testing. Like you have like a unit testing and scenario testing. You can choose anything from here as well, and before that, like we will go to the settings tab. Here like what we are going to do is like we are going to select our test execution. Like how much in weeks and how much months like we need. We need to have those kind of things. Like we will include all the built-on applications, and then like here like we will select like go road as well. That all the rule sets will be covered as part of this particular scenario, testing or like manual testing. Now like if you see the quality trends, like what will be the duration and what is the considered testing. Like what, from which week we should need to consider the test and everything we can see here, and the like scenario test also, like we can make this one. Like just like we will select save this one. Now like what we will do is like application quality, and then now what we will do is like we have application quality and test coverage here. Like we will open the test coverage. Now what we will do, like we will start a new session. Why we are doing is like see like just for example, I created 2 unit test cases and 1 automation scenario test cases. But in real time, you need to create like all the like many number of unit test and many number of an automated test scenario test. Like when you are after completing that, you need to come to the test coverage under application quality. Then you need to start a new session. Whatever you are running, like whatever test cases you are running, it will be tracked in this particular new session. Like just, I am giving the session as like session 1. Like what happens is like whatever we are running, like scenario testing or automated testing, whatever it is, everything it will be running and it will be showing here. Now like what will go is like now it is running. Now it is running. Now what we need to do is like we will go to the particular application, and now we will run the test unit, test cases. Automated testing is there. First is like unit testing. We will run. Already we created 2 unit test cases. One is for Honda, another one is for Saturn. Like we will run this one. Now, if you see here in the 2 test cases, one is got passed, one is got failed. Why? Because like for this particular Honda, we have like valid things and the other things like we have not valid. Like this, you can create like all the data page results with the various makes. And if you are running this test coverage, it will determine like what are the test cases has been passed and what are it has been failed. If you click on that, like it will open that window like whatever I shown you previously. This is like unit test cases running. Now basically for doing this testing, actually We don't need to start this application or project. We don't need to test. Like in some application, due to budget constraints, they won't have tests. As a SaaS and Pega developer, you need to do all the things. In order to do that you can utilize this kind of Pega given configurations. Now like we ran unit testing. Now we will see like the recording, like automation testing, what happens. Like I am same thing. I am going application quality and like automation testing, and here like I am interacting scenario testing and same thing. I am selecting as like test cases. Now if you see, and that pop-up will be open and automatically like it will be running. Like here, like what I will do is like we created only this kind of a test case. I am selecting this here. And what I'm doing is like I'm clicking on run selected. Now what happens is like I am not doing anything automatically. Now this video got opened. Like whatever we selected as part of this case automatically selects. See now I didn't do this in recording only. JP Nananda Nautica 2018 Honda. Like whatever is done. Like this test case has been passed. That's true. Now, I didn't do anything automatically. The captured video has been, we ran this one and we are making this as an post. One thing is like that we are recording video. See now, testing is actually after the completion of. What is like, you can make that recording only after completion of our application. Now, suppose in the second screen you are developing some kind of a scenario. Example, like in our scenario in this assistance request, like we need to make sure like all the make and model has appropriate data. You can run the test case from starting and then make and model allow. You can change the radio button and then you can. Drop down. You can change it and you can record each test cases and you can run it. Like if there is no value means then it will get failed. One thing is like, can you record our entire application from scratch to end? I didn't get to you. Can we record our entire application from scratch to end? Everything we can do from start to end, everything you can record. Just to start the scenario testing and make some case type and all these things. Correct. In order to start like scenario testing, like you can make sure like in which screen your change is there and which screen you need to record everything you need to make. Suppose your application is completed completely from end to end, you need to do scenario testing means. From starting to end, you can capture and then like you can go to this particular scenario testing and then if you run means it will show like whether it passed or not. Now like we ran two things. One is like unit test cases and scenario test cases. Now like we'll go to our particular applications. Now we'll stop that application test coverage here. Like what I'm doing is like I'm going to stop this coverage and it will generate the report as well. Like how much unit test case is being paused and how much unit test case is being failed. Everything you'll be getting. If you see here, totally like 156 rules. Are there executable rules? In that 33 were covered and like 123 was uncovered. Like if you see like show report, it will be showing like how much percentage of that unit in your application unit test has been covered. If you see rules coverage 21%. Like what are the rule name covered everything. You will find it here. Where this rule is called is like you created our scenario testing from starting to end, right on clicking of our session request, like we made 4 screens. For these 4 screens, like totally 132 rows were covered. 13 physics rows were there. In that 21% was covered, that 123 like was uncovered, 33 was covered. You will be getting complete report. Like in this, like you can make sure like what is the particular change, like what is the enhancement you need to make, what are the test cases you are not in order to avoid it. Everything, you can see it here. This is called particular unit test and scenario testing in PGA. This is our last topics. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.